Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. I'm excited to kind of get this session going. I'm going to fire off a lot of info in a short amount of time, so record those questions and don't be afraid to ask, and there'll certainly be a way to reach out and ask after if need be. I wanted this session to be very much about you taking care of you, so your voice works well in and out of the classroom. And I think it's important that we kind of take little odds and ends of moments throughout the course of the day to check in with what our body's doing and how that's helping us use our voice. I say all the time that most of our vocal issues as singers are directly connected to and probably because of how we speak, not how we sing. So a lot of the things that I like to do as a vocal coach, as a singing teacher, is to really make that correlation between how you're speaking and using your body and how you're using that as a singer, as a teacher, and how to be mindful of that throughout the course of the day. And I'll kind of preface all of this by saying too, I like to challenge everybody by saying small increments of time. Find 6 or 7 times a day throughout the course of the day, 2 or 3 minutes at a time, just to play around with some of these new concepts and ideas. And they can work for longer, they can work for shorter, but again, they're kind of geared toward letting you find some time to get them to work for your body and your voice, and share them with your classes, share them with your students. I'm sure they'll all enjoy them somehow or another. But I want to start by doing this. I like to say, get in the room, get in the space, get in your body, make some noise, move some muscles, move some air. So get your body ready to move. If you're not standing up, stand up. And I want to do a quick little body inventory, right? Just kind of get your feet planted into the ground. Just kind of feel where they're at. Just get yourself kind of lined up. I like to say, have a nice long sternum and spine. Kind of settle into your hips a little bit. Feel the floor in your feet. Just be comfortable standing where you're at. Be aware of who's around you, what's around you. Again, just kind of get into that space, get into your body. You want to just kind of check things out and see how you're feeling. So I'm going to ask you to put your feet parallel to each other, about shoulder width apart. You can put your hands on your shoulders. Kind of take your fingers up like this and straight down, and see if your big toes are kind of lining up with your pinky. Yeah, right, with your pinkies. And make sure that your feet are parallel. You can feel those feet flat. Put your hands on your hips. Just kind of gently bend your knees a little bit. Keep that sternum straight and long. Sit on those hips. And just kind of sit there and take a couple of nice breaths in. You can keep your hands on your hips if you want. And straighten your knees out. Now just go up on your toes. Find your balance. Flat feet. Bend those knees again. Now just kind of stick out your butt. Try not to lean forward. Rock your pelvis forward. Feel that stretch in that lumbar area. Stick your butt out again. Arms down. Stand up. Just kind of readjust your feet a little bit. Shift your weight around. Just take a nice easy breath. And wake things up a little bit, right? Now what I want you to do, you can keep your feet however you want to keep them. Just feel your feet in the ground. I want you to take your shoulders straight up to your ears and straight down. Keep your hands as close to your body as you comfortably can. Shrug those shoulders up and shrug them down. This is about moving from the ball and socket of the shoulders. So if you want to kind of get in there and find where that is, I like to take my fingers and kind of trace the side of the pec. I take my thumb, there's a little soft spot in there, I call it the arm groin. A little soft spot in there, put that thumb in there. You can kind of reach up over and feel where that movement's coming from the ball and socket of the shoulder. And since we're lucky and we have two, you're going to move that same stuff on both sides. Shrug up toward your ears and down. Shrug up and down. Now shrug the right shoulder up. We might be in opposition. Down. Left shoulder up, down. I'm cracking, maybe you are too. Shoulders up. Now lower your chin to your chest. Chin to your chest, just look at the floor. Lower that right shoulder, don't forget to breathe. Shoulder up, left shoulder down, shoulder up, both shoulders down and head up. Just take a nice easy breath in. We're going to repeat that. Again, thinking about that shrugging motion. You want to isolate the ball and socket of the shoulders. When you lift up, you want to be careful that you're not pulling back. Same thing when you go down. So shrug up and in toward your ears and then straight down. And try to be mindful of not pulling those shoulders back or letting them kind of collapse forward. We want to keep that stretch going. It helps release tension through the trapezius muscles, the side of your pecs. It gives you a really nice stretch through your intercostals, which makes you feel better when you're breathing. All of those good parts. It's a trickle-down effect. So shoulders go straight up, straight down. Don't forget to breathe. Straight up, chin to your chest, look at the floor, chin to your chest, nose to your belly button, right shoulder down, breathe in and out, right shoulder up, left shoulder down, both shoulders down and head up. Put your hands back on your hips, wherever your feet are, just bend your knees a little bit, take a nice slow breath through your nose and your mouth. Exhale, stand up. I'll come back to a couple other physical stretches, but I want to talk for a second about how this breathing thing is going to work as a checkpoint, as something that's therapeutic to really lower that breath, calm your heart rate down, lower diaphragmatic breathing. I like to do this. You've got to take a silent breath in. If you can hear the breath, if you hear people gasping, that's constriction, that's tension. If you hear the breath coming in, lots of things are getting tight. So before you speak or before you sing, you're going to start in a hypertensive place, and you can do the math. It's not helpful to start singing when things are extra tight, right? So we want to calm the breath down, slow the breath down, make it efficient, and make it quiet. I want you to take your thumb, put it right at the bottom of your sternum, gently touch where that solar plexus is, pinky straight below your thumb, palm of your hand and your fingers are going to rest right on your belly. That's where it's going to be thumb and pinky space, I like to call this. So through your nose and your mouth together, as if you were going to take a sip through a big fat straw, with or without your lips doing weird things. Nose and mouth together, long breath in, and make sure this breath is silent. No noise. I can't hear you, but you can hear yourself. No noise, nose and mouth together, easy long breath in, and you should really feel those abs expand out away from you. Nose and mouth together, breathe in. Feel those lower abs expand. When you exhale, everything just kind of lets go. So just on your own time, take 3 breaths in, nose and mouth together, in and out. Inhale, exhale, just on your own time, and really feel how low that breath goes. I love to kind of wake things up like that. So now that we've kind of reconnected the lower abs and get that diaphragm alive and awake, and we start stretching those intercostals, I want you to take your shoulders back up again and down, shoulders up, chin to your chest. Now breathe into that thumb and pinky space. Shoulders down, head up, breathe into that thumb and pinky space again. Just really feel how that breathing just kind of starts stretching everything out and getting your body to ready to make some noise whenever that's time. You can take your own time to make that happen. Here's a couple other really great stretches just to get particularly your upper body ready. You're going to take one hand behind one side of your neck, other hand up, other side of the neck. Keep just enough room between your elbows for your chin. So through your nose and your mouth together, silent breath in into that thumb and pinky space. Take a couple of long breaths in, nose and mouth together, in and out, in and out. Your elbows should be relatively even with your shoulders. So now you're going to breathe in and open up your arms. Breathe in, pull those arms out, stay there, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale again, exhale, close the arms. Inhale, open, exhale, close, stay there, inhale, exhale, inhale, open, stay there, exhale, inhale, exhale, arms down. Kind of speeding through that. I wouldn't recommend going that fast all the time. If you want to, go for it, but you'll feel a little more drama there. It's a really intense stretch for your intercostals, for your scapula, your trapezius muscles. Pick something up there. You'll really feel yourself opening up. Once you kind of start doing some vocalizing, I like to go back and repeat a couple of these just to reconnect with how great this feels with and without singing. Back and forth and back and forth. It's nice to kind of check in with that. So again, you put one hand up, the other hand up. With your breathing in and out, you can take different variations. Start here, breathing in and out low. Inhale, open, stay there. Exhale, inhale a couple of times. On an exhale, close again, open again. Variations on that. You can kind of play around with how many times and what your repetitions are going to be with that. Another kind of giant stretch is you're going to take your hands, clasp them in front of you, keep your elbows kind of parallel to the ground with your hands all even. You don't want any weird, positions here. Keep your hands a nice amount away from your chest. Again, think about nose and mouth together breathing. This is all just therapeutic breathing. Easy breath in, easy breath out. And you're just going to move your arms from side to side. Try not to twist your whole body. Just move those arms side to side, keeping those elbows even with your hands parallel to the ground. All the while, you're breathing nice and easy. Few breaths in and out. Stay center. Take your hands to your forehead. 2 or 3 breaths in and out. In and out. Just really feel that breath. My back is cracking. Maybe yours is too. I hope so. You're welcome. Easy breath in, easy breath out. Now you're going to take your hands straight up about 8 inches or so over your head. Easy breath in and out. And now just keep reaching for the ceiling. Stretch way up. A couple deep breaths in and out. Arms all the way down. Shake it all out. Recuperate. Hopefully I didn't lose anybody on that one. Nice low breath in and out. Calm the breathing down. Your body will love that. Oh my goodness, yeah. Looking at my notes. Great, so we talked about that. So now I'm going to shift over to the piano. I'm going to try to guesstimate at some relatively, easy places for you to sing. Find where it's best for you. Middle of your voice. Just kind of get some things waking up, get some things moving, make some sound. let's start at the B flat. And so you're just gonna hum. I want you to touch your teeth together. And do it again, easy breath in. Just making some noise. Light, easy humming with those teeth touching to get the air moving up, feel some vibration in your face. Pick a range that's easiest for you. I, don't know where everybody's coming from vocally. I started at a B flat, work my way down, whatever's most comfortable. I think it's important that you get the mid section of your voice living the happiest and the easiest. That'll help the extremes. And if you're using this stuff with any of your choirs, it doesn't matter if they're 7 years old or 17 years old, everywhere in between. Taking that mid section of their voice and making it warm and happy, it's going to make their extremes happy as well. And the physical stuff, starting with that, it's almost most useful to do that, minimal singing. If their body's ready, their voice is going to work a little bit easier for them. But anyway, back to some basic vocalization here. Let's do it on ooh. Ooh. All on ooh. Think about that easy breath in and go. Ooh. Easy breath in and up again. Now switch to ah. Ah. Oh. Good. Just some basic, easy, not anything too complicated. Shift the vowels around a little bit. make a little noise, right? Again, like I said at the beginning, get in the room, get in the space, get in your body, make some noise, and see how things go. I like to shift after doing some, pick some vocalizing things that work best for you, just mid-range, just to make some noise happen. And then go back, same exercises. Let's do this. Down on those notes, I'm at A to D, and I want you to just sustain a V. Easy breath in and blow hard out. Number one goal with this is the spittier, the better. You want to get a lot of air coming out, release a lot of air. Try it again. Easy breath in, blow. Blow it out. One more. Now with all of that air, I'm on an A, with all that air coming out, sing ma, blow it out. Ma, ma. Go back to a sustained V. Now back to ma. Ma. Good. Just to wake things up. I like the sustained V. I'm hoping that you're feeling some air really coming out. I hope that that makes you feel like things are vibrating a lot more. When we go back and forth between some of this really neuromuscular physical stuff and making some basic singing sounds, then go back to do some exaggerated vibrating stuff like the sustained V, maybe go back and repeat some of the stretches, do some more singing, you'll really start feeling and hearing a lot of ease. That's my hope anyway. You'll feel it through your chest, you'll feel it in your jaw. And speaking of your jaw, I want to throw out a couple of jaw and tongue exercises that might be nice. Again, kind of sticking in that same range. If you need to sit a little bit lower, a little bit higher, you can play with this on your own time and find a zone that works really, really well for you. But what I want you to do is we're going to stick with A to D again. Let's do this. We'll do that. What I'd like you to do is put your tongue behind your bottom teeth. Your mouth is going to be closed, your teeth are separated, your tongue is behind your bottom teeth, and you're going to swipe your tongue back and forth behind your bottom teeth as if you were painting the back of your bottom teeth. Back and forth, your mouth is closed. Let that tongue hit every crack and crevice all the way back to each molar. So while you're doing that movement, here we go. Stretch that tongue back and forth. Good, now shift your tongue behind your top teeth. Same movement with your mouth closed. Here we go. Now shift the tongue in front of your top teeth. Swipe back and forth. Here we go. Now you're going to shift your tongue in front of your bottom teeth. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm going lightning fast. Tongue behind, in front of your bottom teeth, swipe it back and forth. Good, quick fire. Now, totally normal. Ma, easy breath in. Ma, mo, mo, me. Love that, and hopefully that gives you a really nice sense of ease, a lot of air moving. A lot of people feel a great deal of relief and release at the base of the tongue, through the length of the jaw. After you've done that tongue thing, go back with a sustained V. Same notes, sustain a V. Right there, here we go. One or two. Now with all that air, blow out ma. Ma, mo. Good, good. Now, find a little low breath again. Thumb and pinky, back in that place that it was, just to kind of calm the heart rate. I'm going to calm my heart rate down a little bit. I feel like I'm going so fast. I want to get a lot of stuff in here. Nice easy breath in, nose and mouth together. Long silent breath into that thumb and pinky space. Easy breath in and out. Now I want you to take your shoulders straight up. Your chin is going to go to your chest. Just stay looking at the floor. Very lightly and very quietly sing, oh, go. Oh, E, E. Shoulders down, head up, sing ah. Ah. Good. Again, shoulders straight up to your ears, chin to your chest. We're just going to make some noise. No specific pitches. Lower your right shoulder and just find a sighing, oh, E, ah. Just a few little sounds. Raise that shoulder back up, lower the left one, and do the other side. Pick your favorite vowels, 2 or 3. Ooh, ee, ah, oh, ooh, whatever you want. Sighing, ooh. Pick a pitch range that works for you. Shoulders down, head up, and we're going to go back. Ma, easy breath in. Ma, ma. That's that. What I want you to do now is checking my watch to see how time is flying. I want you to open your mouth. You're going to stick out your tongue and just let it stretch. Try to keep your jaw soft, even though it's stretching. Keep your cheeks soft. Keep that tongue out. And what you're going to do is you're going to pant 3 long breaths out. Try that a couple of times and get that sound to kind of match. So there's no variation. You don't want it to change. Relax your tongue, close your mouth, recover from that so you don't get lightheaded. You're going to open your mouth again, stick your tongue out again. Now you're going to go 8 times kind of quickly, a fast pant. Try that. Try it twice. Now let that kind of chill out and relax. And then the last phase of this is you're going to lengthen that jaw, stick out your tongue, and just dump out air. Blow it out. The next part of this is you'll repeat those 3 phases kind of back to back. So 3 long ones, 2, 3, recover with your tongue back in your mouth. Open up, stick that tongue back out, do 8 fast ones, and then you'll recover from that for a second, and then you do the 1 big long dump. So I'm going to repeat all of those things. I'm going to do it myself. So I open. Going to recover for a second. Open and out. Going to recover from that. Open. 1 big one. Now I'm going to recover from that. I'm going to go back and sing a little bit. I'm starting at an A flat on ma. Ma. Try that out. Get rid of the air. Ma. Easy breath in. Ma. 1 more. Ma. Awesome. Again, hopefully you're feeling a great sense of release and release. And I'm going to go back and say that, again, the 6 or 7 times a day thing, 2 or 3 minutes at a time, this stuff is wonderfully neuromuscularly therapeutic. It gives you maybe 45 seconds just to kind of shut down, pant a little bit, sustain a V a little bit, move your shoulders a little bit. Just lets you check in with what your body's doing. It's going to really help you be a little bit more aware of how you're speaking. And just a quick little sidebar on that. Try to stay aware of the pitch level of where you're speaking most of the day. We get caught up in all of the classroom talk, all the talking on the phone, whatever it is that we're doing. Most people, statistically, doctors and otolaryngologists and voice therapists and stuff that I've spoken to say that the mass majority of people speak about a third too low. So find a pitch level where you speak, and I think a lot of male identifying voices tend to speak below an F, like down E, D, E, then down there. A lot of female identifying voices tend to speak like at B, A, and G-ish. Shift it up a third and see where things lie. If you kind of practice, you can hear my voice. My speaking voice kind of sits around a D, C, and B. It's kind of freaky, but that's where my voice sits. But when I get tired, and I've been teaching all day, I tend to shift down to F, E, and D. And it's not good for anybody. Shift it up. It's going to force you to spend a little more air, speak a little more lightly, a little higher. It's just going to be better for the long run of the day. There's the quick sidebar about speaking, helping your singing. I want to go back to a couple of other little things. The panting thing is a great little sidebar check-in to get some air moving and get some muscles moving. Another thing to do, just to think about, maybe this is a choral activity, a singing exercise for one of your choirs, or again, just something that you want to do on your own. Oftentimes, in addition to us holding our breath most of the time and not releasing enough air, which the sustained V helps us with and the panting thing helps us with, we hold our breath a lot when we sing and when we speak. And we don't utilize the nasal cavities much at all. We're kind of afraid of making it, a nasal sound. Well, nobody wants to make a nasal sound. A nasal sound, right, is a product of lack of airflow and too much tension. So we want to create nasal resonance, and sometimes the only way to make that happen is to force that space to help us out a little bit. So sometimes, just as a speaking exercise therapeutically, just kind of speak a little bit, hold your nose, say a few words, say the alphabet, I don't know, whatever you want to say, your name and address, and then talk, and you'll feel and hear that resonance change. I like to do it, if I'm doing a choral masterclass or something, I like to take 3 or 4 measures and just have them sing, 2 or 3 measures, ugly, nasal, quiet sound, whatever they have to sing, and then normal, and the sound bolsters itself like crazy. And they can practice that speaking it as well, if this is a classroom activity, but for ourselves, you can kind of figure out how much pressure you're putting on the chords based on how you're utilizing that space. It's another nice little trick to check in with. I like to do that with some of my voice therapy people that I work with. So that's that. I want to go back to some sustaining V things. So most of the time when we're exercising our voices, I tend to use the word calisthenics or vocal calisthenics. We're doing resistance exercises. If you're someone who works out at the gym, a lot of the exercises that we do there, they're resistance exercises, the push-ups and the free weights and the bench pressing, all that. They're resistance exercises. That's what we do as singers as well. We're kind of doing the ooh, ah, ohs and the scales and the arpeggios and the humming and the tongue trills and all that. They're really resistance exercises to introduce a lot of flexibility and movement with the muscles and air. What we forget about is what's called the plyometrics. Plyometric exercises in the gym are things like box jumps and burpees where the force happens first and then the resistance comes. I think about this, the songs that we're doing with all of the jumps and all of the big notes and all that, the songs are the plyometrics for singers. And we forget that we need to practice doing those things to really test all the work we've done with our resistance exercises. So here's a fun little plyometric exercise, a series of things. I'm going to find, let's see, what note should we do? I'm going to go D to A. So you're going to start with a sustained V. And work up by half steps. So we're going to do like 2 or 3 reps. So here we go. Up. 2. You're going to take your finger, you're going to put it up to your lips, you're going to pucker your lips, and you're going to blow on your finger, and you're going to try to recreate the same vibration that you found with the sustained V. There's 4 phases of this, and one of the main goals is to let the vibrations match. So we just did a sustained V, now we're going to go and blow on our finger. Try to find that vibration. Same notes. Blow on your finger. Up, 1. Blow, blow. Short, 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 staccato. 1 more. Blow on that finger, vibrate it. That's phase 2. Phase 1, sustain the V. Phase 2, with your finger. Phase 3, I call fish face. Take your fingers, pinkies on the outside corners of your lips, middle fingers on your cheekbones, just resting on your face. You're going to open your mouth, and then you're going to push your face forward. Fish face, all right? Now we're going to find the vibration like this. This one's hard because it forces your larynx to stay down. So, same repetition with fish face. Here we go. Blow, 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 blow. Short, 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 short. Up again. Blow. 1 more. Great. Phase 4 depends on one thing. If you can roll your tongue up. I'm going to get closer to the camera, freak you out. Fork tongue or whatever you call it. If you can roll up your tongue, that's phase 4. If you can't, repeat the sustained V. So here's phase 4 with the people who can roll up their tongue. Don't feel bad if you can't, right? So you're going to roll up that tongue and again, find that same vibration. Here we go. Short. Up. 1 more. So after you've done all of that, I like to take a big leap, take a big octave, and go ma, ma, ma. So let's do it. Ma, ma, ma. Again. Ma, ma, ma. Great. And again, hopefully you feel like this tidal wave of air coming out and a lot of sound. What I would do before the big arpeggio is I would go back and do all 4 phases back to back. So you isolate, do 1 at a time, and then back to back. You do the same repetition, sustain V, finger, fish face, tongue, back to back. Then you do the big arpeggiated scale. And again, I like to, when I'm doing choral workshops and stuff too, I like to do those exercises within the songs, even if it's legato. Sometimes it's fun to subdivide and make all of the notes subdivisions with those plyometrics. I'm telling you, it's going to shake up your body. It's going to really show you how those muscles need and want to work like crazy. And it's hard. It's like doing burpees. Nobody likes to do burpees, but it really shakes things up quite a bit. So it's a nice way to just really activate things like crazy. Now, one more thing here. I don't know how much time I've got left. It's probably getting pretty close. But what I want you to do is you're going to touch your, am I close? 5 minutes. I got the 5-minute warning. Okay, here we go. So teeth together, lips apart. Your face is going to remain as neutral as possible. The vowels are oo, e, a, ah, o. And you're going to sing oo, e, a, ah, o, but with your teeth touching. I don't know if you can hear it with me. I get kind of like this kazoo sound going. I don't know if you can pick it up in your microphones or your speakers, but you want to listen for that. All the air is going straight up through the roof of my mouth, through my teeth, and through my nasal cavities. So oo, e, a, ah, o, teeth together, lips apart, neutral face. Ooh, e, a, ah, o. Here we go. Lots of buzz in the teeth. One more. And see and listen listen for the buzzing in your teeth. If you sense that air is coming through your mouth like that, then it's not working. You want to test it to kind of get it to go higher. No blowing out that way. Really helps resonate those nasal cavities and the bones in your face. It's a good way to kind of check in and see how that space is working, kind of a funky exercise. Then after doing that, I would go back to doing a sustained V again. Let's do that. Again. Now switch to O. Oh. Take 2 fingers in between your teeth. Oh, and sigh out any pitch you want. 2 fingers worth of space. Oh, oh. Now switch the vowel to ah. Ah. Nice, gentle release of air. One last thing here. We're going to come back. Feet touching. Arms down to your side. Shoulders up to your ears. Chin to your chest. Soften your knees. Breathe twice, in and out. Bend those knees, shoulders down, head up. Separate your feet, shoulder width apart. Thumb and pinky space. Work out that breathing, in and out, in and out. Hand up over your shoulder, hand up over the other shoulder. Breathe below your elbows, nose and mouth together, thumb and pinky space, silent breath in. In and out, raise your arms up to your chin. In and out. Hands out in front of you as if you were going to fly. In and out. Open up to a T. In and out. Relax those elbows and wrists. You could even start with this one way back at the beginning. Nose and mouth together. The backs of your hands are going to touch over the top of your head. In and out. Breathe in. Flip your hands around so your palms touch. Now, with your palms touching, reach to the ceiling. Stretch up, stretch up, stretch up. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Stretch higher, higher, higher. Deep breath in. Arms down. Oh, my goodness. Blow that all out. Just kind of wiggle your body around a little bit. Just sigh out some air. So important to just kind of keep checking in. Listen, if your body feels good while you're making sound, the sound is probably going to sound great. You know, feel it out. Your body is what makes the sound happen, right? We need muscular flexibility. We need airflow. The muscles vibrate. They literally feed vibration into our bones. Overly simplistic explanation of acoustics. So we need flexibility. All of the stretches, all of these nice humming kind of things, and the sustained V's and the tongue stretches and the nasal stuff just stimulates the movement with the muscles, stimulates the movement with the air. We can transfer that into our speaking, into our singing. 6 or 7 times a day, 2 or 3 minutes at a time is the way to go. Nobody has time in their life to sit down and do this stuff for 20 or 30 minutes. Wouldn't that be nice? And even if you do, I'm not so sure it's the most efficient way to kind of let these neuromuscular things settle in. Repetition is a great way to go. A lot of these things make really quick differences, especially with young voices who don't necessarily know how their bodies are working. And it's our job to let them know. So we have to let ourselves know first. Treat yourselves kindly and respectfully and stretch out. In 2 minutes, you've got the time, right? We need to make that time happen for ourselves so we can be there for all those kids that we teach.